Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I want to say good morning to all of you today or night, any of you who are willing to watch this post, and I hope I make it very interesting for you. Also, today, I'd like to acknowledge that one brave American man by the name of General Colin Powell passed away a day or so ago. We all have to pass away. This man, according to his going, when we listen to the Republicans speak of him, they say good things about him. When the Democrats speak of him, they say good things about him. He served Republican presidents, Democratic presidents. He served the people of the United States on the various administrations. And even today, there are very good spoken things are being said about him. Now, what are those nice things? What do they represent? They represent that he's not too far to the left as far as the Republicans are concerned, and perhaps not too far to the right as far as Democrats are concerned. The reality of it is that he's here no longer. But the America that he represented, the people that he represented, they are still here. And they are still here under Republicans and Democratic administrations. And ladies and gentlemen, based upon the things that I've been hearing, leaving Colin Powell aside, let's go back to the realities of the day. My input, based upon what I have observed and experienced, is that mostly everything that you are hearing from the news media, whether it's social or established, whatever it is, it seems to be crooked. It seems that somebody's lying about this, or somebody's disgusted about somebody who said something else about this that's relative to another point that someone else is making. In other words, the nation is as confused as it has ever been in my lifetime, even when Vietnam was going around. It seemed as if people had a little bit more sense then than they do now, because then people inside were coming together upset about something that was happening outside the borders. Today we're in this country upset about what's happening inside of this country. You got somebody on the left and you got somebody on the right, and everybody trying to get on the other side, and everybody's trying to keep them off the other side, because what is on one side is the same thing on the other side, and the people get screwed on every end. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'd like to say to you. When I hear people who speak about lies and deception and putting down Republicans and putting down Democrats, putting down whites and putting down blacks, putting down men and putting down women, putting down the young and putting down the old, putting down Americans and putting down others, that is as confused as it can be. To me, ladies and gentlemen, that represents hell. That represents a lack of understanding. That represents a lack of God. That represents a lack of love. Now, for me to stand here and say these things, ladies and gentlemen, it would be no fruitful value if I didn't have a proposal to make. And I definitely do have a proposal to make. Since it appears as if all I can hear right here is garbage, people don't care about one another. That's the truth, absolute truth. And all of the things that's going on, the people are looking for one thing: selfishness, self-preservation at all costs. It doesn't matter what else is going on, doesn't matter what else could possibly happen. Self-preservation is number one. Some people are willing to destroy everybody to preserve themselves. Some people are willing to destroy a nation or half of a nation just to preserve themselves or their opinion about something. And we can understand that. But out of all the people I've heard discussed about, ladies and gentlemen, and I've heard some fantastic men, I heard of some fantastic men. I've heard of men, I'm not going to go way back in the day where you don't even know the people today, so I'll stick to some of them today. We heard about people like Colin Powell. Let's start off with him, since he's the most one that's right in front of our face right now. I can't say Barack Obama, because he became president of the United States, and after leaving, we had the health care plan that helped us, but there were so many things that we had hoped that a black man would do that he didn't do. And for some strange reason, they got right back around to putting the white man in office, and everybody's going to make sure that he doesn't do anything that would benefit those who need. So it's just pure D hell. Standing here in Woodbury, Minnesota, in the United States of America, with all of the news that I hear, there are some good things, but they are minute compared to that humongous stuff of evil. So, when I, as an American, who has been lifted up as one of the greatest figures that ever lived. Who? Now, there have been a lot of people, but none greater than Jesus Christ. Now, they said Jesus Christ was the Son of God, the only begotten Son of God. I don't know what begotten mean. I've heard all kinds of things. Maybe he was the only created Son of God, or created for that purpose. I don't know. Maybe he was just one. I don't know. I'm not going to even get into that because we can work with that forever. I'll put it this way. He was the Son of God. Now, what makes him unique is that though he human like us, he had such faith in God till when we human beings saw him do the things that were the result of his faith, we said that God was in him. He could not be a person that could do these things because you couldn't do them, or I couldn't do it, or you couldn't do it. But the man who was doing it said, yes, you can, but you got to have your faith in God. You can't have your faith in the plans of Republicans. You can't have your faith in the plans of Democrats. You can't have your faith in the plans of blacks for blacks, or white for whites, or men for men, or women for women. You can't have your faith in that. You got to have your faith in what you can't see, what you can't touch, what you can't feel. But you look all around, you see the sky, you see the clouds, you see the sun, you see the trees, you see the ground, you see the grass, you see everything. Evidence. You didn't put it here. You might have planted a tree, moved the tree somewhere else, but the tree didn't grow because of you. So that happened by power that we can't see, can't touch, and feel. All of us know that. So why not put our faith in that power and walk according to that power? You see, if you walk according to that power, you can just say that power told me to do that. And when that power told you to do that, that power will give you instructions and tell you why and the benefit of it. That power will do that. And then you can justify it. It enables you to walk on water. It enables you to heal the sick. It enables you to do those things that God would do. You don't ask questions. Can God do this? Your faith is solid. You know that God is God. Now, as far as me talking about changing the society, now I can sit there and talk to my eyes turn black. I guarantee you God would not change the society until you, the people, are deserving of the society being changed. And you will know that the society deserves being changed because it is you, the people, that would do it. And then what would you do it for? You would do it for self-preservation, the same thing you do it for right now. But you would have learned that in order to preserve yourself, you got to look out for everybody else. Because if in one person that's not protected, that means that everybody's threatened by that one person. And you can't say, well, we go get that one person. No, you can't, because once you go get that one person, then every last one of you become what you said that one person was. So there's only one way, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth. That's the power that comes from that power that's behind the sun, that's behind the rain, that's behind the floods, behind the earthquakes, behind the fire, behind everything. And what is that? You were made. You were made, and you were made to live as Jesus Christ did on earth. Now, I realize there are some people so backward, and I understand that. I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying you don't know. Who says that Jesus Christ never existed? It doesn't matter. If it was just a story, if it was a story just like the story of Santa Claus, people go and try to give gifts and stuff and try to pretend that Santa Claus exists. Now, if you're going to say that God is all powerful and God is all love, then why are you going to treat Santa Claus, make him real, and deny God? Deny God when God says, thou shalt not kill, you go and kill. Thou shalt not hate. Racism, bigotry, all this stuff, all these things you do. But for some men, I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, you can't fool God. It is apparent to me today that I can say, without a doubt, that being born again, deciding that you're going to take a step and be a child of God, is like taking a t-shirt and going on the top of the World Trade Center or some big tall building, skyscraper, and jumping off, knowing that that t-shirt will grab enough force for air to make you land soft. Becoming a child of God is just like committing a suicide, because most of you don't think that you're going to jump off a building with a t-shirt and save yourself. Well, all I can say is this. They say that Jesus Christ represented God. Couldn't wait to kill him. Men of renown, Gandhi, John Brown, Abraham Lincoln, the two Kennedy brothers. It seems as if anybody that wants to do good, a massive good for anyone, It's suicide. And if it's suicide to say you love, if it's suicide to stand up and represent love, then this can only be a tool that's used to separate the devils from the angels. The true devils from the angels. Because the true angels will be losing their lives. All of these people that I just got through mentioning to you were doing good things, wanted to do good things, and every last one of them were murdered. None of them just got sick and died, except Colin Powell. Everybody else was murdered. Let me make sure. Yep. They were all murdered. Even the 3 little people down in Philadelphia, Mississippi, just trying to help out, murdered. They don't want any good. And I get up and I hear social media guys talking about the Democrats. That Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing. He's just losing hand. And promising the Republicans, if they just get rid of Donald Trump, they can win everything. Well, let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen when they win everything? There's been a Republican president. There's been a Republican Congress before. And not just one time. Did America change? Did America get any better? There have been that same thing for Democrats. Did America change? Did America get any better? So what the heck are you talking about if you just get rid of Donald Trump, the Republicans can take over? And then what? Be responsible for the pain and suffering that people endure every day? Be responsible for people who living on the streets, living in tents, snow coming around, and they're going to be responsible for that? What makes you want to claim that? I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they do it because they figure you are stupid. They do it because they figure you, the American people, are straight up fools, and you don't have any sense or any mind to use. That's why they try, and they think they're slick. They think they're so smart, they can pull this wool over you. And for all of their lifetimes, and all of your lifetime, they've been able to do it. But I don't want to be Muhammad Ali. I don't want to be some other great personality, Colin Powell. I want to be me. But if there's any mark that I like to make, I like my mark to represent that of Jesus Christ. Why? Because Jesus Christ loved. Jesus Christ, in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, mindset is this: every human being, not just in America, but every human being on earth, following the principles of God, will never have to worry about anything that they need, that they want, or that they desire. Why? Because the power is in their hands and God's. All they have to do is imagine it, and the resources are already available. And once you put your hands to the plow, engage in all that is required, you got what you started out to get. So if I'm saying to you that if you were listening to Jesus, or if you were listening to God, and if you were listening to me, every American, as an American citizen, would never have to worry about food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, and any other thing that you can imagine. Why wouldn't you have to worry about it? Because the resources are here given free, and you, the people, would benefit from it, so you, the people, engage yourselves in the process of creating it. And if you like education, you got education free. And if your health is bad, you got health care to get you better. And the world is just waiting for you to get good, so they can receive the goodness. They can receive the heaven right here on earth today and not die, and maybe go somewhere where hopefully you weren't lying to them about. And if you're asking me, if you said something about it based upon what you are saying today, you are a lie. You're a straight up lie. You don't know what you're talking about. And you might, but you still a lie, because you told so many lies. Now, let me tell you what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. I'm fed up with it. I'm still alive, and they haven't killed me yet. That means I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to die for God. But this is what I want. I want every last one of you, ladies and gentlemen, in every city, in every state. I want every last one of you citizens to go out in your community and start talking to one another. Stop being so jealous. Stop getting upset because your neighbor got a car and your car broken down. Stop being upset because your neighbor got a good job paying good money and you can barely make it. You start talking to your neighbor, poor and those who are not so poor. Come together and realize that you are the same kind of people. You want the same kind of things, and the pain that hurt one is the same pain that will hurt another, and that you're going to do something about it. And what you start doing, bringing those problems, those things that are falling short, identify them and take them to your representatives at the city level. Tell them to resolve them with your support. And if they can't do it, then take the whole city all around the state, go to the state level and tell the state to resolve them. And if the state can't do them, then take all the cities throughout all of the states and the states and go to the federal government. And if they can't do it, then you come back and let's talk again. Because I promise you they can't do it. They can't do it because they don't have the mindset. They can't do it because they don't want to. Why? Because they want to be God. They want to be the richest. They want to be the one to fly to the moon. They want to be the one sitting up there and looking down on you. And they'll do it. And yes, my friends, they will kill you, slaughter you, and murder you. This is pure D hell on earth. Let me say it one more time. In America and every nation on the face of the earth, I don't care how beautiful your buildings are. Yeah, I don't care how magnificent they are. They can be all up in the clouds, and when you look up there on those buildings as far as you can see, and you see that they got cranes up on scaffolds a mile up in the sky, taking the building higher and higher because it represents uniqueness. It represents imagination. It represents power, and all of that is good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But all that causes material. All that causes imagination. All that costs is commitment. And do it. It really does not cost one penny. The fact that money is instituted into the process indicates where the lying and the cheating and the stealing and the con and the devil begins. With that money. You see, it's about profit. Everybody say, well, democracy and capitalism, that's about profit. Yes, it is. It's another tool of Satan. Anything that you get more back than you gave, and that was your point. And when you get more back than you gave, that means that somebody else who was giving got back less. And you think you're smart. You think you're blessed. Now that he has less, you're giving him a reason perhaps to steal when he's out. Oh, man, come on, America. Golly, I'm just a black man from the cotton fields of Mississippi. I pick cotton, chop cotton, pick cucumbers, pick tobacco. Went to a little small school. I ain't that damn smart. I know you're smarter than me, but I ain't no damn fool either. And I know you're trying to make me look like a fool. You're trying to make the country and all these people out here look like a fool. Like you so darn smart and they out here hungry. They're out here struggling from day to day. And just because for some stuff that you were taught and you haven't erased it yet, you end up lying and cheating and stealing and killing and terror and war, and everything is designed for that particular purpose. What kind of people are you? I think about going to Chicago over the past weekend, and man, you talking about robbery? The whole state. They take down now on the toll on the road. They use the camera, knowing that you're going to have a problem paying that toll. Pass through there, you put your money in the bucket, you keep on going. Now, no bucket, you're going to forget about it. And then it's going to add up. Well, you could have paid $2 or $3, now you're paying $50. That's the greatest robbery you can imagine. Parking in Chicago, you can't park on the streets no more unless you're paying all kinds of money. Parking downtown at the hotel, you can't park at the hotel free. You got to pay $40, $50 to park at the hotel. All kinds of stuff going and get, oh man. Now you wouldn't notice if you got a pocket full of money. You got a pocket full of money, you can do what you want to do. You don't have to worry about anything I said. You have to worry about the hate and the racism and the bigotry and all that kind of stuff. But the lack of stuff that money can buy, you ain't worried about that. You smiling. I saw a Cadillac on the streets. That baby was so bad and so tough, it was a crying shame. I just mesmerized at that baby. You know what I thought? I said, this car right here is from God. It's from God. Some people say, well, be in the world but not of the world. I don't know what the hell that means, except this. Leave the lying and the cheating and the stealing and the evil stuff out. You can be here, but leave that. You're not of that stuff. You're of the peace and the prosperity and freedom and the joy and the fulfillment of dreams. That's what you are about. And so I'm sitting here thinking, that beautiful car. I'm looking at these magnificent buildings. I'm looking at all the wonderful, magnificent, beautiful things. And people want to make you think that that's of the world. That's not of no world. That's of the Spirit of God, that invisible power that you cannot see, that you cannot touch, that you cannot feel. Now you're seeing it expressed in those buildings. Now you are seeing it expressed in those bridges. Now you're seeing it expressed in everything that man creates except them bombs. That's God. For what? For you. So that your needs, so that your wants, so that your desires can be met. That's God. To make sure that you have to suffer for nothing. That the door, the key to heaven is in your hand. That's God. You turn the key right way, walk in. You're going to have to probably die, though, because the people that's been living, I got a few of them. John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, John Brown, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Goodman and Cheney, and another young man, I can't think his name right now. The woman from Detroit, you remember her, Gandhi, Martin, Jesus, and a whole bunch of others, because they were doing right. America is not about righteousness. America is not about righteousness. America is about greed. America is about bigotry. America is about hatred, because out of all of that comes destruction. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've confused you. I've said a lot of things, probably talked more long than I had planned to, but the truth of the matter is that I have said some things that needs to be said. And I want you to know that as far as I'm concerned, if there's any man that's compassionate enough, loving enough to be president of the United States, his name is Eddie Bernard Marcus Sr., 71 years old, born March 2nd, 1950. And I don't think there's a person on the face of it, especially black, a person on there, especially white, that can have a plan that's as beautiful as the one that's been given to me, the one that I've been delivering to you for the past 40 years, and you still walk around with a sign. How would you stand on the sign with a street sign, on the corner with a street sign saying help the poor? You let the American people, you let the American nation reduce you to the level of standing on a corner? Give me a piece of paper. Let me get a piece of paper. Oh, what did I do with that piece of paper? You let America, you let these human beings reduce you to the level of standing on the street corner with a sign. Helpless, help the hungry. You are not embarrassed? Well, you really shouldn't be, but the nation should be embarrassed because they put you in that position. But you should be embarrassed too because you allowed them to do it. Why would you stand on that corner? Because you want to keep on living and you don't want to go up there and challenge the people that got the power to straighten the situation out. So you sit out there on that sign. You go out there behind those tubs in the snow and push it back and sleep back there at nighttime. Or sleep in the wintertime in a tent, burning up your cells with that old gas and stuff that's going to kill you anyway. Because you're afraid of this devil that's out here. You better wake up. In this church, let me say one thing about this in the church before I go. And I'm talking about every church, black churches, white churches. I'm talking about Protestantism, I'm talking about Catholicism, and any other stuff that's out there talking about God. You ought to go sit your tail down and go learn who God is before you go out there. You ain't nothing but a dim of confusion. I said it, and I mean it. And if you don't like it, come kill me. I'm tired of this hell anyway. Plain and simple. If I want to live here continuously, I want to live where my needs, my wants, and my desires are met. But not just mine, every last one of yours. Otherwise, this is hell, and I accept it as nothing but hell until we can come together and change it. And until that, I'm going to keep on standing up until you kill me, or God let you kill me, or God call me home on some other kind of way. I'm going to be doing it because I'm fed up all of my life with seeing this pain, with seeing snot running down people's nose, hair ain't combed, dirty clothes, raggedy, in woods, in waters, trying to get away from people trying to rape them, running away trying to get away from people who are trying to rob them, running away from people just trying to put them in slavery, running away from people who are trying to abuse them, and you sitting back talking, look at them. Lord have mercy. Now, I'm fed up with this. You can help us change it if you want. Who is us? Me, God, and Jesus. The decision is yours.